YouTube? It's PureGaming24. Welcome to a sort of new video in my series. Now, keep in mind this is not a game, this is a program. This is Xsplit Broadcaster Review / First Impressions. It's not really First Impressions, I lied. It's just a review because First Impressions is the first time you play the game or have the software, and this is not. So, I'm sorry, I sort of lied to you, kind of, sort of. I don't know if this is going to go in the same category as like my Minecraft review. I guess it can because it is still a review in general. So anyways, let's get right into it. Now, Xsplit. Xsplit Broadcaster is an excellent program that you can use to pretty much record or live stream your game. I use this for recording my game. I don't live stream with this. I use OBS. I can use this too. To be honest, Xsplit's a lot easier, but the only problem that I have is my pop-up does not work with Xsplit, so I have to use OBS. But if I could, I would definitely use, or if I'm not using the widget, I will use Xsplit, of course, because it's a lot easier and it's just a lot better, personally. Now, getting straight into this. Now, there's a paid version and a free version. I recommend you buy this, but get the free version first to test out if you actually like it, and then upgrade, because the upgraded version gives you so much more than the free version does. So let's get right into this. Now, keep in mind that this version of Xsplit is a bit older than the one that you have now, because of the fact that I don't update my stuff because I already have this done. I kept my Xsplit from way back when. It asks me to update when I open this, but I don't, because I like the old layout and I have everything set up the way that I do for a reason. So I'm not gonna update and then have to re-go through my settings. So going into this, now when you open it, it's gonna be probably a bigger screen. Now I'm not gonna change it. So let's just go through what this has. So in File, you have different presentations, and you can add different things, as in like you can add a camera if you have a webcam or something like that. You can add an audio device, which I wouldn't recommend you do because it already detects it. If you do this, you'll just hear yourself, and that's kind of weird. And so with a stream, so like double your audio. You don't want that. So you can add a picture, which is a media file, or a video, a screen region. So if I wanted to make a screen region, you get a sort of thing like this, and let's say I want to record that. So now we have that here. And you know, you can add all these different things. You can add a game and stuff like that. And my Vegas is actually running. It is rendering my Minecraft video, so that's why it does that. So you can do all that in sources. Now down here is the same thing. You can add or remove something. These settings I'm not gonna screw with because I screw with them in a different thing. So let's grab something to I don't really know, and it kind of sucks when you have a black background. But okay, let me start up Minecraft in my other screen while I go through this. So pretty much there's a bunch of different stuff that you can do. Now the view, let's go through the view before I bring up my Minecraft in here. Let me just push play. In the view, you have a resolution scale. You can change this to record at whatever you want, and keep in mind this goes between, like, if you select the 720p, it'll broadcast at 720p. If you select the 1080p, it'll broadcast as in live stream it. So be careful on what your computer can handle, and if it can't handle it, it'll start lagging, and you'll know when it starts lagging because it's kind of a bitch. But anyways, so let me bring up Minecraft here. So I'm gonna pretty much what I'm gonna do here, which is cool. So let me bring this into screen. I don't know how well you're gonna see this. It's probably gonna be sort of cut off, which is quite alright. It doesn't matter. So I'm gonna go to screen region, and I'm gonna just click it. I don't even have to do anything. It already finds the inside of it. So I'm gonna drag this off screen because it'll still be on the front of the screen anyways. So now we have a Minecraft thing. Now keep in mind, this whole black space is what your audience will see. So you want to make sure that this fills the screen, right? So to do that, here, let me turn off some sounds. Nobody needs to hear it. So to make it bigger, you literally just drag one corner to this side and then the other corner to this side. Now if it doesn't, and if it keeps its aspect ratio, you literally just right click it, you go to position and keep aspect ratio, and it will stop it. So then you can drag it to each corner and it's done just like that. So make sure it hits all the corners, and as you see, we have a beautiful looking Minecraft game. Now as you see, when I click, it turns black like your mouse, and this is a paid version sort of thing to turn off. If you don't want it, you literally just right click it and you go to screen and then show mouse clicks. I personally don't like it because it's more professional to not see the clicks. So as you see, this is looking beautiful in this little view scale port that we have here. Going through the view still, now you can record this at, hold on, you can record at 30 FPS, which I would definitely recommend. If you're recording a video, go 30 FPS, because YouTube downscales your FPS to 30 regardless. So if you record a video at 60 FPS, it will go back to 30 FPS in YouTube. The only difference is at 60 FPS, it looks a little smoother than 30 FPS. But you can't really tell if you're recording at 30 FPS, so it doesn't really matter. I'm sorry, that sounds very confusing, and I know it does. And you will understand what I mean when you try and record it at, like 30 FPS compared to 60 FPS, and then you upload it. You'll see a difference. You can record at 15 FPS. Don't. Look how laggy this is. Like, oh my god. But 60 FPS down here. Now it'll tell you if your computer can't handle it. Down here. It says you have set a stage frame rate, which is not recommended. Now it doesn't tell you that you can't do it, but unless you have a beast computer or a beast CPU, I would not recommend you do it. So as we see, mine, I can, because my CPU is pretty good. My computer is actually pretty good for streaming in general. So let's load up a world. Now we'll see how in Minecraft, look how smooth that is. I don't know how well you'll be able to, you won't even get to see it. I forgot. So we have Minecraft in here. And this is just an easy sort of like test. It's not really for it in general. It's just like a good test game, because I'm not going to open like Arma 3 for that. So anyways, so these transition speeds, the transition goes from like fading to different scenes, as in like if I had a picture and I didn't want to show and see and yes and fuck I'm sorry, but so the transition speed is pretty much this, and going from different scenes. So see, like that, you see the transition and it fades. Yeah, that's what the transition is. The projector, I wouldn't worry about any of this. Hide view scale port. This helps immensely if you're having lag in your game. If you're having lag in your game, that obviously means that your computer can't handle processing both your recording graphics and the video game graphics itself. So do this, and it will hide the what you can see, but it'll still be recording your game and live streaming. You just won't be able to see it here, which is kind of cool, kind of bad. I preferably keep it on unless I'm lagging during a live stream, which can happen, but most often it shouldn't. But if it does, just hide it. Now the view scale port, this is the size of the client window itself, as in, like, let's say I wanted it to be a little bigger, and that's what it'll look like. It's more pixelated because it screws up your stuff, as we see here. So let's go back to 30 FPS, which it's still playable, and then let's go back to my 50% sort of thing here. Now actual, if we go to actual, it'll show exactly what I'm seeing right now, just a little bit more pixelated. It's not this sharpened, I promise. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm seeing right now on my other monitor. And so what we want to do, let me come back over here. I like to keep it a little smaller to preserve space on my extra monitor. So just keep that in mind. This will take up some space, so if you want it smaller, you know, just go 10% or actual or anything like that. Now, here's where we get into the sort of technical side of, here, let's exit out of this. So this is where it gets technical. Now, I'm gonna block out the top part of this, of my properties, because, you know, I'm not going to show that. But down here is where this relies on your CPU and your internet speeds, as in your upload. And I can't give you the range, I don't have that on the top of my head, but if you have a beastly internet, like a 3+ upload, you can probably get away with maybe a 3K bitrate or something like that. If your internet's not so good, kind of like mine, and this is for live stream, keep in mind that's for live streaming. I stream at a 2500, 14,000, yeah. Now keep in mind, the higher the bitrate, the better internet that the viewer will need to be able to watch your stream without lag. And increasing the bitrate, what this does is, sometimes when you're playing a game and you get foliage, as in it gets pixelated really fast, like on a stream, and then it goes back, that's where the bitrate comes in. And you want that higher without exceeding a limit of a viewer. Again, it doesn't make much sense, but it is what it is. So you always want the quality highest, so go to 10. Max keyframe interval, I would just leave that on default. And then your encoder preset, now this even says it's a compression, low CPU usage recommended for most users. Now if you want it slow, you need a monster CPU. And then higher compression, you know, 2nd gen i7, which I can do. I can do slow too with no lag or anything like that, but keep in mind it kills your CPU usage. So I would just go with these. I would just go with default if you don't have a decent CPU. If you have a better CPU, like an i7 3770, then you could do fast if you want, or just fast without an i7. But if you have a monster CPU like me, I'm not trying to brag, I'm just saying, you know, just so you get an idea of where it ranges to, then you can do slow, but I just wouldn't recommend it. I keep it on very fast just because. Now, on buffer rate, I would probably keep that down to 1500. Now, keep in mind, you can play around with these numbers and find what's best for you. The video size, I wouldn't recommend you screw with this because it will ruin your resolution. And then I wouldn't really screw with that. There's some codes that you can put in here to help your CPU and stuff like that, but I wouldn't really mess with it. I would leave this stuff alone unless you know what you're doing. I leave it alone personally, and this is for live streaming, as I said before, so I would just leave this alone. And that's pretty much all you set for, you know, Twitch streaming. You also need to link your stream key and everything like that and your username, but as I said, all this up here is blocked that you can't see, so you wouldn't have an idea of that anyways, so I'm sorry. Anyways, broadcast settings. This is where stuff gets interesting. I mean, local recording. settings. This is where it gets interesting. Now, this, as we see, I have a monstrous bitrate at 5500. Now, I couldn't stream with this bitrate even if I tried or wanted to. This is only for recording, so then when I record, I don't have the pixelation in the video. And I think you would probably need a better CPU for this itself. But if you're just trying to start off, if you're starting off, I would try just a 2500 to 3500, and I wouldn't go over that. But since I know my limits, and well, I actually don't, this just works for me also. So I'm gonna just use the 5500. I probably will lower it. The Minecraft video that I made was, I think, 3500 that I recorded it at, and it looks pretty good, so I wouldn't mess with that. So I have my mode in CBR. I don't screw with that. I don't screw with the codec because I can't. The audio codec I wouldn't mess with again. I mean, you can have this MP3 if you want, but I just don't screw with it because I have a higher bit rate, as it says here. So I wouldn't screw with that. I don't screw with any of this. Output as an MP4, of course. So let's go into these settings. So apply strict CBR. I'm not exactly sure what that does, so I leave that default. I also leave this as default because max key interval is something that you don't really need to screw with when local recording. Like I said, I use faster because, I mean, I've tried slow, and I mean, it just compresses it. That's really all it does. It doesn't improve your stuff as in quality. So I'll just keep it on faster. That's usually my presets that I have. Once again, I have the same buffer as my bitrate. Now, I had this on 3500, but since I changed it again, it went back up. So I keep this at 3500. So there's a buffer and a bitrate. So the buffer, pretty much what it does is, it's pretty much, the bitrate and the buffer rate are pretty much what it's gonna stay at in between those numbers. So it's not gonna dip below 3500 bitrate, and it's not gonna go above 5500 bitrate. So this is just pretty much setting a buffer, if you will, between the two numbers. Now you can definitely just keep this on 5500. It doesn't matter that much. Now as we see down here, this should already happen down here in the encoder. If it doesn't, I guess you could copy this if you wanted to. I'm not sure. I can't remember. I've had Xsplit for a long time. Ooh, my video just finished rendering. Oh, amazing. So that is what it is. So getting out of that announcement, this just will take you to like a Twitter or something like that. Tools, you can set a delay if you want. I don't when I stream because I don't see a point in it. And then in here, this is where things get very interesting. Now this is where you can change everything that you could ever want. Now you can, you know, screw all of this stuff, like screw with it all. I just leave purely all this at default. I don't screw with any of this. I don't like to, so I'm just not going to. So if you want to, just go through it and mess with stuff. I don't. I would just come here, set up your microphone, and be done. And that would be that, and that's it. And then when you want to record, you can set up keys for them. That would whoops my bad. In general settings, I think, yeah, hotkeys. Now if you wanted to stop local recording and start, it's F9. I think that's, you know, what it is in itself, as in that's default. Now you can change all of these if you want. Now if you were a hardcore streamer, I would definitely recommend you switch between scenes with a key, not your mouse, unless you have a 2 PC setup, and then in that case it wouldn't matter. So like I said, I don't screw with any of that. And tools, I've already been through that, and then all this doesn't matter at all. So that's pretty much what Xsplit is, and that's what I use it for. This is my own personal setup. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoy, and I hope, you know, out of this video that you guys can see that it is a good program and maybe would like to use it or buy it. If you guys do want to buy it, use that link below that I have linked. It helps me out and my partner, as in Camille. It helps them out with that link. If you buy it from that, it doesn't give us money or anything like that. It's just we're partnered with Xsplit, and Xsplit is helping us out. So, you know, in return, we're gonna help them out, bringing more people into getting Xsplit. And that's if you guys want to. I'm not gonna force you. You guys don't have to buy it if you don't want to. I would definitely recommend you try out the free version before you make a cold-hearted decision or a warm-hearted decision on if you want it or not, or if it's for you or not. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you really enjoyed this video, and I'm not recording this with Xsplit. That's weird. I'm actually using Camtasia, which is the thing that I use for my RuneScape videos. Now I'm probably going to switch over or back over to Xsplit now that I have my bitrate option. I'm not sure though. I will have to test out the qualities and everything like that, so I'm gonna have a lot of work to do later on. But this is pretty much the last video before I go on vacation, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I've been, you know, just making videos crazy today, so then you guys will have everything to watch and kind of a new series to watch. So I will be back in probably about 5 days, and once I'm back, I'm gonna be spitting out videos like mad on my different series now, and RuneScape, and everything in between. And I hope you all enjoy my content. Please hit that subscribe button below, hit this like button below, comment if you want, it doesn't matter. I read every comment and I comment back to every comment, unless it's, you know, unless I get like 1,000 subscribers and then I get like 700 comments. I'll read through them all, but might not respond to every one of them. But I do my best, and I do respond to every comment as of now. So yeah, guys, I will see you guys in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed, and stay cool, I guess. I don't know, an outro thing. So I love you guys, and I'll see you guys when I get back.